Hello and welcome to Edessa, the Dark Crusades. The This will be a particularly intense, perhaps, little scene. The Nosferatu have informed Madeline of the Lasombra of a strange symbol and door that they've kind of uncovered. The symbol of Lilith plastered quite apparent upon it. And with Madeline's natural curiosity and her own steadfastness to the path she walks, it is imperative she investigates it. But she's not one to go alone. She has brought her young student, the Gangrel Thorvald. What will they find down there? Or rather, what will find them? That is the real question. As you have been instructed to come to a sewerway very close to the slums, as it is the quickest way to get down to where you need to go. And you have been instructed to knock 3 times, and then 2 more times, and then the door, or whatever it is that the Nosferatu have there, will open for you.
Madeline and Torvald have both set out from their haven. Madeline herself is wrapped in a cloak, carrying a bundle with her. She's a couple of items wrapped up in cloth, really, essentially, and she's herself looks like a hooded figure. With her, or she, for those who would see her without the cloak, would see a woman in armor, which is unusual. And this is why she is cloaking herself.
Thorwald also wears this black cloak over more easily maneuvered in hardened black leather armor. He carries 2 gladius type swords strapped to his belt. But at the moment his hood's up. He silently follows Madeline.
As they begin to get to the slums, get nearer, the two have been tense. Madeline hasn't been speaking much. She's had a couple of hours in the night before she met up with Torvald. She's been doing, well, some stuff. Torvald hasn't been privy to exactly what she's been doing, but one could guess that she's been feeding. Perhaps wanting to be at full strength. Well, Madeline, whilst they're getting closer, she will just say to Thorwald, "So, not only must we watch for ambushes, if this is indeed a trap, but we go in together and we leave together, no matter what."
He smiles at her. No matter what.
She looks at him. seems quite contempt and gives him a reassuring nod and a smile.
For the most part, Thorvald seems quite calm.
They proceed to the place. Madeline will go up and knock as instructed.
And as you knock as instructed, you feel kind of a little bit of a rumbling under you as what looks to be some of the rocks and the way that the brick stone has been kind of placed kind of slides a bit, essentially allowing you to kind of squeeze yourself down. It's going to be a very tight fit, as it is just about enough where you two can slip down without really drawing too much attention.
Thorvald will go first. And then he'll stand there and reach up to sort of assist Madeline in, more so because of the encumbrance of the armor than.
And she will probably need it. Let's not kid ourselves. She is still getting used to having this, well, not too maneuverable crap on her.
So he'll stretch out so to be able to grip her and slide her down in kind of a more direct shape, so she doesn't get stuck.
Now the two are there. They will see who is greeting them.
Who is greeting you is someone that Madeline has been wanting to see for quite a while anyway. And she, before she says anything to you, she quickly kind of pokes her head above ever so slightly, just make sure that there's no one else, and quickly pushes the brick stone kind of back into place, kind of checks it to make sure it doesn't wiggle or wobble about, and it kind of gets in very nicely. There is hardly any light down there. The only light you really see is well, quite frankly, the eyes, if you will. And she simply goes, "My apologies. My Primogen is not going to be able to assist you, but I think that I am more than perhaps enough to get you down there." And she kind of smiles to the both of you.
It is very good to see you again. Last time you were distraught.
Yes, I was. That Malkavian, a little firecracker he is. I will have to make sure that he's properly disciplined for messing with Mother after all, but that is for another night, I can assure you. Please. And you see her kind of wiggle between the two of you and starts kind of scuttling down the down this little tunnel.
As she does, Thorvald, as she wiggles through, Thorvald says to her, "If Mother doesn't want to get her hands dirty, then it would be my pleasure to reprimand him." He smirks slightly.
As you say so, you feel a somewhat kind of scaly. I say scaly, but it's kind of more like skin. You know how skin gets when you've been sunburned for too long, and it kind of starts peeling off. It's a little bit like that. And she kind of goes, "Such a good boy, such a very good boy." And she again kind of scuttles down, and I am assuming, of course, that both of you are following, as quite frankly, it's very tight in here and very dark.
Thorvald's eyes. You notice that his eyes go into like this sort of animal orange color as he uses his protean to assist his viewing.
And Madeline's eyes turn black. The powers
Lovely.
of the mysticism again allows her to see quite clearly.
Lovely. And
Any penalties for blind fighting, that would suck. Oh, yeah.
very much so. But as the three of you kind of scuttle down and kind of wiggle down through this tunnel, it seems to go on a decent while. In chronological terms, it's about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes before you get to a spot that's more easily to maneuver in. And it is a place that is kind of covered with what looks to be lichen or kind of a moss. So it allows you to kind of see a little bit better. And you're definitely in a piece of the sewers. And Mother kind of says to the both of you, almost just we need to go down this tunnel way for a bit longer, and then we'll be there before we know it.
Thorvald will be at the back. He kind of carefully moves in the moss because I imagine it's quite slippery.
Yes, it's very slippery, and uh, the way that the moss is kind of placed, it's placed in a way that can give you like light, but it's very how do I say it? It's very kind of very close knit light.
Mm.
Like basically enough where you can kind of see where stuff is, but you don't really want to step. Like you're not sure where you can step, regardless.
They will perhaps slow down a little bit, trying to navigate this.
Yes,
Well,
the
speaking
slowing.
from experience, wearing full plate armor and moving on slightly mossy, wet ground is a pain in the ass.
Very
Of,
much so.
of that, I'm fairly certain. Thankfully, Mother has she has forgone such armored purposes. She's wearing clothing, obviously. I'm not that deplorable, but she's wearing very ratty clothing. Something that can just easily be torn and kind of muddied. You don't have to worry too much about such things. Uh, as that happens, the three of you again kind of continue down this tunnelway. And let me see here. We all need to roll a little dex. Which dice roll are we using?
Dice roller 1, I think.
Okay.
Dice roll a button.
Okay. We need to roll a little dexterity, dex athletics. It is a difficulty of 7.
Madeline will spend blood in dexterity. Just one.
Well, you got one success for Thorvald.
I just need to check my athletics. I have one success.
Let's hope that Mother can not. Let's hope Mother doesn't fuck up. Right? I say that, and then she's going to end up fucking up.
You have just jinxed it, sir. No, she doesn't.
Oh, thankfully she does not. It's probably because she's more used to this place. But she kind of sneaks rather easily enough, and she kind of helps the two of you kind of move away from what looks to be very finely, very finely kind of knitted kind of wire, like a tripwire, basically. And she, for all intents and purposes, uh, looks to both of you, and she goes, "Very, very careful now. We wouldn't want to cause another problem." And
Madeline can feel as she steps over the wire. She can see. She sees that Thorvald as he just as she does it, Thorvald puts his arm across, sort of like out in case something might fall. He sort of protect with his arm. He sort of shields her exposed side as she steps over the wire, and then he steps over it.
Mother will smile at this, and she will again say to Thorvald, "Such a good boy."
He bows his head at her.
And as all of us have moved away from this trap, she kind of wiggles her fingers. "This is the tunnel down. Please let us stick close together." And she, excuse me, as thank you. You will be spared. You will be spared this night for that. Anyway, all three of us are now going down the tunnel. And again, we are trapped in darkness. But there are small patches of the moss to give very little light, just enough.
What does it smell like? I assume shit being the obvious answer, but
Uh, when when you're
okay.
in the sewerway, it's it smells terrible. A lot of like nasty water, and the natural sewer water and things like that. But when you get to the tunnel and you kind of go down it, it smells more earthy. Smells more
Like things have gone from shit to compost, or like gone through composition and just like dirt and earth.
Yeah, it's like basically whatever this tunnel was made of previously has basically decomposed or has kind of become so kind of affected by water that it's basically become kind of an earthen mound, if you will. The air feels very thick as well.
It's
Like
not good breathing if you had lungs.
Yeah, like a person who has has usable lungs, they can go down it, but they're not going to feel very comfortable in it. It's like being in a cave. It's like being in a very kind of thick cave. Kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
By the way, just gonna share the live link. 1 moment, please go on.
That's fine. And again, the three of us continue down this very long cave. The way that it moves about, or tunnel, I should say, kind of kind of moves like it's almost serpentine. It kind of moves left to right in very weird angles at times, and it feels much longer too. Where it took you roughly 30 minutes to get down to the sewer level, it takes, honestly, I would say about almost 2 hours to get down to where she says that you guys are. And you guys are in an area that looks like this. I know it's very pixely, but you can see that there's a lot of kind of overgrowth of that kind of lichen and moss. It feels like you almost feel as if the air itself is very visibly thick with the earth and smell. Like you almost feel like sometimes you're gonna go blind because that's how thick it feels.
Yeah, probably very mossy and spory down here. Loads of mushrooms and mold and
Yes,
yeah,
very
not good.
much so.
Dust.
But you do see in this area, you do see little places where there was at one point lamps, not lamps, like torches.
Mhm.
And you do see some torches there. They're kind of high up, obviously, or the Nosferatu have uh, put them there for obvious reasons. But it's again very very soft light. Very, it's almost as if there's no light at all, really, aside from the kind of atmospheric moss. And she goes this way. Hurry, hurry, hurry. She again scuttles along like a like a beast. This one does in a place like this.
Thorwald doesn't slow down his pace, but he does sort of observe the surroundings. He seems to be.
Please,
Yeah.
Thorvald, can you give me a nice little, uh, like, when you say you're surveying the surroundings, are you just kind of like looking at them, or are you investigating them?
He is checking for like structural integrity.
So, like investigation or just
Yeah,
perception?
I'd say like perception investigation probably.
Yes, I will ask you to roll that, please. Give me a good, let's see, a difficulty of 8, please. What is Madeline doing?
She is looking around, but looking around for things that might be more distinct. Like most of this has been like obviously decayed. It's almost beyond recognition, but maybe there
Okay.
is something. Like maybe there is hints.
So, do you? Okay. What is your occult score?
4.
Okay. Can you give me? I'm trying to think which one would be best. Give me a perception occult, if you can possibly. I know that sounds very strange, but you'll see what I mean.
If this has anything to do with abyss mysticism, I don't think it does.
No.
Okay. If not, then it's wow. What's the difficulty?
8.
2 successes.
Okay, that's still very good. As let's see, Thorvald, how many did you get?
Two.
Very nice. Okay, Thorvald, as you are kind of surveying the this tunnel and kind of the structural integrity, uh, you can tell uh, quite clearly, despite the growth of the moss and mushrooms and various other things, that this was something definitely man-made. It wasn't made by Nosferatu hands. It's just the fact that it's too. Uh, how do I? It basically like something that's been done by construction, like something that has been made from a very long time ago. Kind of, I guess, kind of a feeling or observance, I should say. So it feels very solid, despite the the disgusting look of it.
He doesn't nod to the invisible thought. He just sort of hums, uh, wondering to himself why they would build a city or this structure under the ground.
Yes, why would they do that? Hmm. For Madeline, yes, for Madeline. For your thing, as how do you kind of look about the for this for the role that I told you? Do you just kind of go up and kind of touch the kind of the moss or anything?
I mean, she's not gonna rummage through things, but she is gonna look for signs of markings of like text or anything that she can find down here to give any indications of whether it's just that door or whether there might be other signs of anything, well, less than common. Well,
Less than right,
well,
right.
yeah, out of the ordinary. That's the phrase.
No, that is perfectly fine. Uh, get this. As you, uh, as Madeline kind of looks over the structure and she rubs her hand over some of the moss, she sees something that's been kind of carved into this kind of wall. And I will bring the picture up in a moment. But it is a it's not as detailed as this picture, but you can definitely it's something like this basically. Like very kind of rudimentary
Hmm.
the art style is. It looks very much kind of like Babylonian Assyrian kind of art, like ancient. It looks something like that.
Hmm. Madeline is just can't help but smile. She is indeed very, very intrigued and very, very happy to be here. She is. She will probably. I mean, is Mother insistent on moving forward?
Uh, as you as you kind of look at that, you do see Mother kind of come up behind you, and she does go, "Magnificent, isn't it?"
Quite so.
And she also kind of touches the markings, and she goes, I'm not someone who has lived a very long time, but whoever put these here, there was obvious dedication to it. Uh, isn't it a marvelous thing to see the mother of all things here?
Madeline just looks to her and just says or asks, "I wonder, are the two of us perhaps sisters? You seem to speak with some reverence."
She kind of chuckles a bit, rather coyly, and she goes, "Perhaps it is because we are women and we understand her. Perhaps. But we mustn't dawdle. The thing I'm sure you'll be very interested in is right down this way." And she kind of beckons the two of you down this little, flight of stairs kind of thing. Obviously, handmade as well.
You can hear Thor follows. You can hear he stamps his boot a little bit on the stairs. Hmm. He seems a little bit untrustworthy of the surroundings, but that's understandable after what happened last time.
Hmm.
He was dead.
Oh, you mean where you guys almost got crushed to death
Yeah.
by boulders and stuff?
Yeah, and fired
No, that
arrows.
perfectly
Yeah.
perfectly safe. I can assure.
Yeah. He's like legit just checking around. Yeah. Just he stomps a bit on the stair with his boot as he goes down.
And as the three of them go down the staircase, uh, she, as you get to the bottom, she kind of waves her hand very ceremoniously, and you see this door, very large door, very thick door, with people, obviously kind of carved into the door itself. People in various kind of how would I say it? Positions, I should say. There are men with women, women with women, men with men, uh, people with what looks to be monsterish creatures. They're all the only thing that's very common is that there is this weird kind of face of like kind of pleasure and kind of horror kind of meshed together.
Madeline just whispers something to herself. Again, with a smile, she will begin to approach.
What is it that she whispered, by the way? Or is it just a
She'll
very...
whisper something to thank you, Dark Mother. That is, eventually, she just whispers to herself.
Okay.
She feels as though her faith has been rewarded, shall we say.
Of course. Thorvald, what do you think of this obviously very safe and wonderful door?
Thorvald's more well, he does look at it. He takes his hood down. And he looks at it for a few minutes. He studies the imagery, and then he turns to see Madeline's reaction. He's pretty much going to take her lead on this one. He's not going to touch anything. He's really a student.
Madeline goes closer. She will take in every ounce of this.
And and obviously Madeline, you can see the symbol of Lilith is upon the door, very very obvious. And there is as you get closer to the door, you see inscription that's been kind of carved in. Your cult is 4. Give me an intelligence occult, please. It will be a difficulty of 9.
That is 2 successes.
Very, very nice. As you kind of look over the inscription, you can tell that it's not Babylonian. It's not kind of it's a more ancient language. You honestly swear that it looks like something Enochian, the language of angels, if anything. That's about as close as you could possibly think of what it would be. The way that it's kind of presented, it's almost poetic in a way. And Mother gets close to it, and she goes, "The thing with me, I don't understand what it says, but it's very ominous, that is to say the least." And upon the door itself, there's also obviously not in the picture, but there's kind of a little slab where like liquid could go into.
Thorwald looks at the words. He obviously doesn't. He's never seen anything like that before.
Do I have any hint of what it says?
Yes, it says those like it very like you can understand very small bits of it. Obviously, it's very more articulated, but the gist of it that you get from it is those who love Mother must give of themselves to enter her embrace.
Thorwald looks at Madeline questioningly.
Those. She will repeat it. And she looks at Mother and Torvald, and she will just, to both of them, she will just say, I intend to enter. I will give of my blood. I do believe you will be required to do the same. If you do not wish to enter, as she looks at Mother, mostly, she will just say, would you give us a bit of privacy? Unless you, of course, wish to enter yourself.
She chuckles to you as she pulls out a very small dagger, and she quite, kind of quite frankly, just cuts her wrist and lets the blood drip into the slab. Basically saying that she's not she wants to be here. She wants to see what's behind that door as much as anybody else does.
Madeline will do the same. She will open her wrist and begin to trickle blood into the slab.
How high up is the slab?
It is.
Bear in mind that Thorvald is like 6'6", so.
Oh
big,
no, like oh no, he can easily he kind of towers over it. It's basically enough for like a person about like basically a person who's like 5'9", 6 foot can like easily do it. As long as you're not like like incredibly small, you can easily kind of do that.
He kneels down. And he'll take his knife and he'll cut his palm and then offer it to the opening quite ceremoniously.
As all three have dropped their blood into the slab, you notice something quick, very obviously. The blood, as it kind of trickles down, obviously the slab itself looked like a very solid thing, but as soon as blood has kind of gotten into it, it starts draining, and you see it start moving up the door, and you see the blood starts kind of moving about in basically the symbol of Lilith and some of the other symbols that are kind of equated to her. And as the door opens, it opens very slowly, very kind of automatically. You swear, I'm not kidding to this, you swear that the statues are releasing a sound from them. It is a mixture of pleasure and terror kind of mushed together as the door is opened.
Madeline is a statue of a textbook example of a person that just seems to have been walking, searching for a very, very, very long time for something, and found it. Absolute joy is on her face.
Mother is very much as well the same as you, Madeline. She is kind of overcome, if you will, with the sound, as if as if it's music to her ears. Or Thorvald, I wonder how he reacts to this thing.
He definitely enjoys the sound. I mean, it is one of
I,
his favorite sounds.
I would hope so.
Um, he closes his eyes to the sound for a moment, but there's still that edge to him. Um, that's just part of his personality. It's ever apparent. Madeline can probably read it like a book. As pleased as he seems to witness her joy, there's this little edge to him that's on guard.
And so, with that, Mother looks to the both of you and she goes, "Shall we?" And she walks very slowly, defensively, in a not like a schoolgirl who's getting excited to be somewhere she shouldn't. Still very cautious. She goes in.
Madeline will probably be right next to her. Again, not storming ahead, just looking for. Well, she's looking to take everything on the other side of these doors in as much as she can.
Thorwald walks behind them, sort of roughly to the center. He can clearly see over both of them and sort of around to the surroundings.
As the as the all three of you go inside, there is a very much a sense of nothingness, a very dark place here. You can see within it uh, what looks to be a circled area where rituals partook in. What you see kind of carved into the rock of where this stuff happens is a symbol very much like this. And Mother is quite excited about seeing this image. And she goes, "Can't believe it. It is." And she looks to Madeline. It's like, "Do you know what this is?"
And I assume Madeline would know.
Yes. You
Because
know of.
Claire is not exactly sure, but
Yes. Madeline would know that one of the most prevalent images of Lilith is the mother of monsters. Jewish texts claim that Lilith, for defying God and Adam, became the mother of demons. And of course, the various story of her refusing to be beneath Adam, to be dominant in the sexual endeavors. And so, what Madeline knows is that this place is obviously a ritual chamber for those who use their bodies. Basically, a ritual sex temple, if you will, but used primarily for Lilith's uh, needs, I guess I would say.
Madeline will take time to study this. Um, Is this the only room there is here, or does it go on?
No, this seems to be the only room that it's in. Excuse me.
She will just take in everything, just to take in the facts of this place. But she will, after looking at all of the markings and everything, she just tells Mother, and she goes, "Such a magnificent place. Who knows how long this has been since anyone has been here?"
And as you say that, Madeline, the door closes behind all three. There is a sense of something else now within this chamber. You see blackened fire. It's almost as if the abyss itself, the abyss that you know of that surrounds you, is kind of combusting in upon itself as a figure kind of writhes out of that little thing that is there, and you see a thing that looks like this. Looks, you think it looks human, but the way that it kind of moves itself about is very alien, very unnatural.
At the surprise, the the door suddenly closing and all this weird abyssal stuff happening, which I'm sure Lasombra are used to, but Thor's not. He stands and he sort of moves, and he doesn't like stand directly in front of Madeline, but he does. He does stand sort of in front of her, and there's this kind of like sound that comes from him, somewhere between a I don't know. If you, the closest thing you could probably imagine to it is that sort of low grunts that a bear might make.
Madeline will kneel down and be very much in front, kneel down, bow her head, and she would just say, "Who or what do I have the pleasure of speaking to?"
It opens the strange mouth that it has. It kind of makes a sound as it speaks, and you hear kind of echoing throughout the chamber a thing that doesn't sound male or female. It sounds kind of like both are mixed together, and an unnatural kind of sound coming with it. And it goes, "I am a child of the mother. You are worshippers of the mother."
Yes.
And it kind of breathes very like heavily, and it continues and says, "So long has it been that blood trickled and flesh writhed within this place? Not since." And the thing itself kind of looks at you and it goes, "You are children of the first murderer. Mother's missing piece."
Madeline is, again, bows her head and just nods in agreement, just says, yes. We would be honored to perform a ritual if it is needed. If it would please you and the mother.
It kind of cracks its neck in a very, very loud fashion. And it goes, yes, that is needed. I have not had such pleasures in ages. The mother requires creation. It desires birth and death, pain and pleasure. All must be made together. And as it says this, the form starts to change, very, very kind of obviously. It becomes something more like this, and you can see the various heads kind of start kind of growing out of its mouth. Very monstrous things.
Thor at this point, once Madeline had kneeled, he also went into a sort of kneeling position. He keeps his head low.
And as this thing changes to this form like this, you can hear a more guttural sound from its voice. But who will accept the mark? Who will be the womb? Who can accept the mother's embrace?
Madeline stands and steps forward.
Thorvald looks at her. Well, he doesn't completely lift his head up because he's quite. He's not. He showing fear is like against his path, so he's not going to show anything on his face. But inside he's like, oh fuck.
You might wanna roll that. That's all I'm saying.
What am I going to What should I roll for that?
What is your road's kind of main thing? Is it like conviction or something like that?
It's conscience. It's road of kings, essentially honorable accord.
Okay.
You can be afraid. You just can't show it.
Okay. I just want to make sure, since this is some freaky shit. That's why I'm wanting to see.
Yeah, I think it would be non-legit if he wasn't afraid of this.
Yes.
He's never seen anything like this before.
That's why I think if you could roll that for me.
What am I rolling?
Nice. Your conscience, please.
I need.
This horrible fucking thing is basically saying you don't know what it's going to do to Madeline.
If
you don't know what the mark entails. That's why I'm saying.
What? Have you got the sheets there in front of you, or have you not?
For you?
Yeah. Because I can't remember in my head what my conscience is. Otherwise, I need.
That's fine. I can get it for you. Don't worry about it.
It just take me longer. That's all.
No. It's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. Let us just say that as this is going on, as Thorvald is kind of looking at this mother as well is kind of moving to kind kind of moving to embrace, not embrace exactly, but
I just to
can't.
interrupt. I would say that like I would probably have to make a manipulation subterfuge roll to conceal my fear, and if I fail that,
Then then let us do that. Then let's do that. That might be better. Where is your sheet? I can't seem to find it on your thing, unless it's further. There it is. There it is. Okay, so you said your manipulation subterfuge.
yeah,
Okay,
it's not
where is
like 3.
that? That's fine. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Nope.
Nope. Sorry, sorry,
Contradict.
Thorvald.
I think it's 3 or 4, but I can't remember which.
I have your little sheety sheet. You said, where is your?
Actually, you might want to fail this next one.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, please roll your. We will roll your conviction.
Which is
3.
okay.
Yeah, bossy.
You are terrified. You inside you are
Um,
like you are screaming that this is a bad idea,
but
but
Thor,
you
he fails his manipulation subterfuge rolls. So when he looks up, um, he does bolt his head up as soon as Magdalene says, I will, essentially volunteering herself forward. There is viewable. I mean, he failed, like point blank failed. There's viewable fear on his face, and he stares directly at this thing. It's not so. It's not exactly defiance, but it is like, kind of the look that don't hurt her look, or an unsure look. It's definitely there's a great deal of uncertainty about him as he looks at this creature. He's not experienced this kind of thing before, and it's shaken him.
okay. So we know that Thorvald he's freaking the fuck out, but that's okay. That's kind of natural. Madeline, as you have gotten closer to the creature, so has Mother as well, and it looks at the two of you, and it kind of raises its hands very ceremoniously, and I'm legitimately not kidding to you. You feel as if you are hearing, and you can honestly see it despite the kind of the weird the black flame and such that it was kind of flickering about. You can see in it various uh, bodies of things that are not exactly human. And you can hear very much like how it's been before, a mixture of pleasure and horror and anger and tons of other horrible sounds that if it was a human hearing these things, it would probably go insane. Maybe kindred too. We'll see what happens. As the creature, this thing, speaks the words very much, Madeline, that you can understand very clearly. Speaking, it goes, Mother of the dark things, the ever present womb, she who brings forth all dark and forbidden things. They, before you, submit themselves to your tests. May you find them acceptable for the seeds of all sin. And as it says that, Madeline, can you tell me how thick your armor is?
I was about to say that Madeline has probably begun to take it off.
There is no need of that, actually, because as soon as it touches your armor, where your womb area is, it basically goes through that. It doesn't break it. It just kind of like it becomes incorporeal, or kind of as if your armor is like kind of like a pudding, or like a very very soft. Just goes through that and touches where Madeline's womb would be, and it does the same to Mother as well. And let me see. I need to think of what I need to have you guys roll. This, I think, Madeline, what is your road's kind of main thingy? As I look it up. So look it up, by the way.
Right.
Instinct. Okay. I want you to roll me your instinct.
Oh, it's instinct, conviction, and
Okay,
courage,
instinct.
of course. But yeah, instinct and conviction.
Yeah, I need you to roll me your instinct, please, if possible. It will be a difficulty, quite honestly, because this is a very big thing. It's going to be a 9.
Can I spend a willpower on that?
Yes, I will allow this, and Mother will be rolling for it as well. So you will be
I have 2 successes.
very, very nice. Let us see what Mother gets. Boop. Boop. She has the same amount of dice as you. Let's see what happens with her. She got no success on that because I said it was a difficulty 9. So this is going to be incredibly horrible. As the creature feels the two of you and kind of looks at the both of you, and it as it goes to Mother, you hear her screaming in like pain, a very horrible pain, and it goes, "Unworthy flesh, unworthy of Mother's love." And as it pulls itself away from Mother and Kinda's body, you see quite abruptly, very, very abruptly, writhing, shadowed teeth kind of coming from the walls, like this. And Mother kind of looks to Madeline as the teeth, these mouths, just quite frankly begin consuming her. Very horribly so. And before you know it, she is gone. There is as if there was no indication of her existing.
Madeline will just stand there. She's probably also in tremendous pain, but she powers through it.
Yes.
And she will just. She will She will see Mother get devoured, and she will just say, she will just utter, "The unworthy perish, the worthy stand ready to serve."
Excuse me.
Moment, Thor will speak. He'll wait for Madeline to speak first. And he says, "Humbly, child of mother, as my mistress and my lover serves you and serves the mother, I would ask that any test given should also be given to myself. We
The
come together."
creature looks at you, and it goes, "Worry not. You have a part in this."
He lowers his head.
As as you do so, Madeline, you feel something within you, something you have probably never felt for a very long time, since the time of your mortality. Of course, you know with kindred anatomy that there is no that a kindred can indulge themselves in sexual desires if they want to. They have no need of it. But you feel it. You feel it as if something's been unlocked, kind of kept down for such a long time. This desire, this need, a primal, kind of animalistic need to reproduce, to mate. And the creature says, "The womb is serviceable. Mother calls. Birth. Birth of another sibling. Birth of another dark thing. Born from a child of the first murderer. Born of shadowed. Born of that which all things hide." And Thorvald, this is where I will let you guys do what you wish to do. As Thorvald, you feel something within your mind, your senses. It is telling you you must lay with Madeline. You must do so. You must become like a beast. You must claim. And with that, like I said, we will.
Madeline is frantically trying to get her armor off at this point. Yes. It will be fairly quickly, and
Thorvald spends a blood for potence, and
yeah, I would hope so.
he also spends a blood. We don't need to say what for.
Oh, obviously.
And he basically he stands quicker than any sort of movement you've seen him do before, and he'll just walk over to Madeline and just, with the potence, just pull the armor off.
Madeline herself will use potence. As soon as the armor is off, she grabs Torvald and more or less slams him to the ground and climbs on top of him.
And this is where I will we will fade to black on this particular part, but I will say this. The times that you two have consorted in such a physical manner, whatever kind of physical, primal kind of passions you felt from that, it doesn't fucking compare to what's going on right now. Like, literally, you guys are like animals. You are literal beasts. Every sense of your nerves, everything that had been dead, feels alive. It feels on fire. It is bursting with this energy. And you can hear the creature again kind of speaking the ancient tongue as you do so. And you hear, kind of drums, and you hear voices chanting. It's very, very much how like you would think a ritual would be going. And as however long it takes you guys to get that shit out of your system, I'm going to say it takes you guys about 2 hours, close to 3. Yeah, it looks like about that much. You feel the effects kind of drain out of you. And Madeline, if you were to look upon where your the womb is, you see inscripted upon you the symbol of Lilith, but very much more kind of designed. And you can see very much some of the stuff right here. This thing right here. This is what you have now, where you're like where the womb area is, kind of inscribed upon you. And for Thorvald, he has one as well. It doesn't look like that. It looks more kind of phallic, obviously. And the creature returns to this form, and it says to the both of you, "The mother is pleased with this ritual. She expects you to share your gifts, share your sins. Let monsters be born again. Let the cities above writhe. And may Mother, may she consume all things again." And with that, everything goes dark. You feel a tumultuous feeling as if you are within a wind, a tornado, a hurricane of bodies moving about you. And you find yourself back at the gate, but it is sealed. The slab is decayed and cracked as if it has been much longer than how it seems. But the two of you are there. Mother is not.
The upper part of Thorvald's did they get their clothes back? I'm just saying, like, they're just lying there naked as a day.
No, you don't get your fucking clothes back. Y'all are still naked as jaybirds.
He's kind of like on. He pushes himself up because he's kind of like on his back at this point. And he looks at the door, and then over at Madeline.
She goes over, kisses him very deeply.
He kisses her and looks at the mark.
A blessing. For the both of us.
He slowly stands to his feet. What are we going to say about what happened to Mother?
That is a good question. Perhaps the truth. There was a test. We passed. She failed. We had nothing to do with it. That is the truth. We were deemed worthy. She was not.
He nods.
Madeline will pick up the bundle she had with her. It's just like some cloth that she laid there. Some cloth with a couple of items within it. And she just looks at you and just says, "What? Assuming we must be." She looks around. "So, we are to go back without clothing. Unfortunate, but oh well."
I mean, why the fuck would a demon give a shit about clothing? It's like, clothing? Why do you need that shit for? Like, naked is beautiful, man. And as I know. Anyway, as the two of you go up the go up the stairway out of this chambered place to return to the world above. It's almost as if we've been down there for centuries, almost in a way. There is very soft voice, very soothing voice comes from the doorway as a woman's voice speaks, and she says very, very clearly, "Times are almost approaching. Soon the children of Cain will become the monsters they should be. Edessa and all of the holy cities will be consumed. And I will, as my children will, return. And I will take him again who denied me. And so shall my love be eternal again." And that is the end.